Elizabeth?
Can you call her on her phone by chance, Laura?
Yeah.
Again, to all the other presenters and owners, we're just holding up here just a little bit for one of our board members to be able to link in. Again, apologize for the delay here. Thanks for your patience.
Get them out of here.
Sort of here.
Hi, Laura. Yeah, I don't know why I can't. I don't know what's happening to my computer that they just fixed today.
Laura?
Yeah, I muted her because I didn't want the echo.
Okay, could
She's
she
gonna
be
try
on?
to join with her phone.
Okay,
Her computer's having some problems.
okay.
We do have a quorum.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting, Laura. We'll have Elizabeth join us as she can here. Unfortunately, we probably need to move forward.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. The sun decided to come through the window right on me. Just a second here.
Elizabeth. You're muted, Elizabeth. Oh.
Okay, is she able to join us?
I can see her, yes.
Okay, good, good. Okay, welcome everyone to the October 5th Architectural Review Board for Town and Country. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'd have a full agenda tonight. Please be patient with us as we continue to use Zoom for this. We'll move a little bit slower than normal to give everybody a chance to participate. If you're a presenter or an owner, if you would make sure that your sound is muted until your agenda item is up. And Laura will help with that a little bit if she can. The first item on the agenda, though, is the roll call. Laura?
Chairman Venegas,
Here.
Mr. Arzano,
Here.
Miss Bennis,
Here.
Mr. Clark,
Here.
Mr. Forbringer,
Here.
and Miss Proust. She is here. I have Mr. Suku as absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting that have been previously distributed. Any additions, corrections to the minutes as distributed? Hearing none, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been a motion and a second to approve the minutes from our last meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Hearing the lack of no's, we'll take that as the minutes are approved for the last meeting.
Can I vote no on my own minutes?
Okay, I'd like to make an agenda change. Number 4 is identified as the on our minutes or on our agendas and identified as architectural review code amendments. And with the pleasure of the board, I'd like to move that to the last item on the agenda to be respectful to our presenters and owners. Could I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to move the architectural criteria amendments to the end of the session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. So item number 4 will be moved to the end of the agenda. Next item on the agenda is an addition at 1010 Devonworth Manor Way. Is there a presenter for that project?
Nobody's announcing themselves.
Okay, again, is there a presenter or owner available for 1010 Devonworth Manor Way? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to move that agenda item to when a presenter becomes available.
I'll move
Stephen
that.
makes that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been a motion, a second to move 1010 Devonworth Manor to a time that there's a presenter available. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion
Or
carried.
he's on now.
Oh, sorry, that was me. I was the presenter and my laptop died and I had to go onto my iPad. That's why you lost me.
Okay, and I'm assuming you have dead computer insurance?
No, it was time to replace it anyway, but I'm sorry.
Okay, glad to have you with us. Could you give us an overview of 1010 Devonworth Manor Way?
Yes, it's 3 additions. It's a covered entry, an entry cover, very similar to one house to the west. Then there's a vehicle breezeway for the driveway to access the rear entry garage, and then there's a patio cover. And all the design, the materials will match the existing house. They'll be the same brick, same stone, same metal trim, same shingles, and everything. It's like I said, the entry cover is similar to the house to the west. There's a house across the street that has a breezeway. It's a little more substantial, but it's precedented in the neighborhood. And then the patio cover, I don't believe there's any on the street, but they just want to cover their patio. So, and then when in the course of doing this, we would maybe widen a little of the concrete drive lane to get through the breezeway better. But you can see from the elevations, it will all match the existing house. We'll have the same brick, same stone, same colors and shingles and roof angles, everything.
Sir, just for the record, could I get your name?
My name is Michael Schneider. I'm an architect.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Schneider? Mr. Schneider, we didn't get any pictures of the rear view of the property or the property behind this. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The house is on the next, behind them to the south.
Yes.
That's, well, there's a little bit of tree line there, so there's a visual break. It's a similar style, it's just a different neighborhood. They're all, like I said, similar style, roof angles and all masonry. The brick may be slightly different, but the style is not any different than what's on this street. So there's a little tree line at the property line between this house and the house to the south.
How much of the addition would the rear neighbors be able to see?
If you don't count where the view is restricted by the trees, you would be able to see all of it. I think you'd be able to see all of it. When the leaves are down, or the tree line isn't a solid wall of trees. It's some taller and some shorter. But,
Okay, all right.
But it will all match, so it won't be an eyesore. It's not siding or anything like that. It's all the same materials.
Okay, any other questions for the presenter? Hearing none, I entertain a motion.
Chairman Benegas, I'd also like to note we've received no public comments in regards to this.
Thank you, Laura. Appreciate that. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Been a motion, a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no.
Aye.
Sounds like it was unanimous. It was unanimous. Mr. Snyder, thanks for being with us. Appreciate that. And good luck with your project.
Thank you. I'm sorry I dropped out there. It was right when the meeting started and it went put on me. So
We understand. I'd like to be able to say that never happened to me, but I can't say that. The next item on the agenda is 16 Summer Hill Lane. It's a new resident. Is there a presenter for that project?
I'm here, Susan Bauer. I'm the architect. And I have a couple of members in the audience here, Mark Rollins and Jill Rollins, who are the owners of the lot, and Kim Taylor West, who's the designer on the team.
Great, welcome.
Thanks.
Can you give us an overview of the project, please?
Yes, it's a single family house on a lovely lot that backs onto Queenie Park. The site slopes steeply from the eastern end to the western end, and it's the western end that faces Summer Hill Drive. So the challenge there, it would have been a great project, and still is, by the way, but if the two-story portion were facing the rear of the lot, it would easily have been a walkout. As it is, the two-story portion faces the front of the lot, and so we have worked that into a nice entry and courtyard from Summer Hill up to the main living level on the upper level, which has a walkout to the backyard where you can see Queenie Park.
Okay. Anything else you'd like us to know about this project?
Oh, I can walk you through the ARB submittal if that's helpful. We can go through and I'll give you an overview of the materials. We're using standing seam metal roof in a dark bronze color, Radaman stone, limestone in a natural cleft finish. Happen to have that here. We're using a light gray stucco, which will match the stone. Douglas fir under the eaves We have large overhanging eaves, making it a prairie-style house, pulling it into the design of the older homes in the neighborhood. We'll use the dark bronze for the downspout accents, and then we'll use a dark bronze window on the exterior cladding of the materials. We've done our diligence with the civil engineering. Our coverages are good. We've got our stormwater all in order, and Ryan has made sure that we're good in that way. We plan to have a nice courtyard garden in the entry and in a patio in the upper level in the rear. Mrs. Rollins loves to garden, so you're gonna have to drive by in a couple of years and see how beautiful this looks. Paging on through, the lot is heavily wooded around the edges, and we're keeping as many of the trees as possible. We are taking down the older trees in the middle, and there were quite a few trees that were diseased because the lot had overgrown for quite a while. So Frontenac Forestry has taken care of the plan for us, and that will be worked into our landscaping, trying to keep as many of those mature trees and younger trees as possible.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Bauer?
Yeah, I've just got a couple of questions or comments. You know, looking at the model that you guys have provided, which thank you very much for building a model and taking some photos of it so that we can see how the massing is going to work.
Good.
I think there's just two things that jump out at me. One is the volume of the garage. As you look at the model shot on, I guess that's looking from the southwest to the northeast. You know, the volume of the garage just sticks right out in the front of the house with two big blank walls to it. You know, I wish there was something that you could do to soften that or break that up a little bit. You know, I don't think it needs to match the volume on the south side, but it's really nice the way you have those windows and the windows turn the corner there. It'd be great to see something on that to clean up that garage. And the other item that I have, or I guess I'll say one thing that I really like is the way on the garage side, you played with the roof height. The roof for the garage is a little bit lower so that when you're looking at that north elevation, you know, you get a little bit of a break to it and it breaks down the scale a little. Can you do something like that on the south side? It's just one very long straight eave to it, and it just makes the plane of that wall look pretty massive.
Will I respond to those now, or are there other comments?
You can go ahead and address that one for now, if you don't mind.
Thanks. The model is really helpful for visualizing the massing, but it doesn't really get into the detail of the siding and the mix of siding. Perhaps if we go back to, let me see, page, trying to find my right page here. What we had attempted on the garage is to play with the differences in the surfaces. If you go to sheet 14 out of 17,
Okay.
you see on the lower drawing, it's called a section elevation looking north, and that's showing the larger wall of the garage. And what we have done there is put a couple of vertical bands of the stucco mixed in with the stone to start to break down the massing. And that plays with the location of our downspouts. And the downspouts will feed into a garden element across the way. So we're trying to work that surface vertically, given that it is a long horizontal house. That attention to detail is anticipated in that area, and it's at a level of materiality that doesn't really show in a small model. So that's what we were hoping for. We also have that very glassy, nice entryway in the corner window that you pointed out. So we'd like to be able to have a little bit of stone to juxtapose to that. We're not averse to putting a window into the garage, but architecturally, I would prefer not to. With the massing of the landscape and the play of the wood and the stucco against the stone, I think it'll be a very nice mix of materials. And the south side, I think we have pushed our slope. We've kept the slopes low for one thing, keeping with that ranch house look. And we're coming in right at the height of the rooms along there. They're 10-foot tall rooms, and our plate on the south side is right, the slope of the roof is coming down right on top of that wall. So we would have to lower all the rooms inside to be able to push that volume down more. Again, it could be done. It's a little bit, it causes some difficulties and changes. That would be a more severe change in the design.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying on the garage, and from that, the way it shows up in that drawing, I get that now, and I think that, and especially with the change in height, that didn't really show up maybe as well in the model. There's just, I don't know, what does anyone else think about that south facade?
And yeah, the south facade, if you look at 13 of 17, drawing number 2, it's showing you how we're breaking up that surface again with the stucco interplay. So 2 of the boxes that come out, the bays, will be clad with stone, and then we interplay with the stucco. And the stucco has bands in it. The stone has silk coursing in it as well. So we're trying to add character to those surfaces, granted that they are larger surfaces, but we have worked to break them up and to make them seem that they're smaller bits of a building.
Yeah, and I think it's that elevation on 13 of 17 that I think jumps out at me more than it did in looking at the model. I'm sorry to say, it looks a little apartment building like along that elevation.
And this is an elevation that you don't see from the street at all?
No, but I mean, I know there's plenty of trees, but there's a neighbor's house kind of right there. I guess luckily there's a lot of trees. So many trees that on Google Maps you can't even see the house. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I'm the only one that has any feelings about it, then.
I share your concern, Angelo.
You know, and
Any other comments?
Well, and again, that drawing is showing you a flat elevation, and it's not showing the volumes pulled out in stone. So I think you're going to see more variation along there than you do in that flat drawing.
How far out do those volumes project?
3 feet. So from the street, you're going to see that first volume, and in perspective, given the number of trees, I don't know that you're going to see the full length of the house
Mhm.
because it's a long, narrow lot.
What's
It's-
the,
I was gonna say, it's along that south side of the lot that it looks like you're taking out most of the trees.
Go back to our tree plan. On the south side, we have many, let's see, we're keeping most of the trees in the front in that corner.
Right, but not the ones that are right adjacent to, again, I'm
Right.
concerned more for what the neighbor's gonna have to put up with than the people on the street. You know, I'd hate for that person in the future years to go to sell their house and somebody looks out of the bedroom window and sees something that they're not comfortable with.
Susan, this is Mark. You wouldn't have an angled view of that elevation from your computer renderings or anything like that you could pull up, do you?
It doesn't, I don't know if it's going to help us at all because it doesn't show the neighboring house. So I don't have that
But
readily
It
available.
would show the protruding sections
Yeah, it would
and
show
the breakup.
Let me see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, if you have something other than the model. I mean, I think in general, I really like what you've done with the house. I like the way you've kept the roof slopes low. It's not the typical cookie cutter town and country house, and I applaud that. And you've done a great job dealing with the terrain, but it's going to be a very nice house.
I'm the interior designer. I wanted to just mention that I think with the bronze cladding, and there's going to be a beautiful staircase and other elements that you can't really see in that drawing or that model, that it's actually going to be a very nice view. And the landscaping plan is definitely something that we're happy to add a few trees to and things like that as well. So it's very important that on all sides, obviously the view is beautiful. But I think those windows will be absolutely gorgeous. They're not standard windows in any way, and it will not have an apartment type look in my opinion, especially with the variation of the materials and the undulating in and out of that wall. I think it'll look very good. And I think keeping in mind the Douglas fir on the eaves is very important as well. So there's just a lot of specialty elements in the house that are really going to add a signature to it. And it's a little hard to tell with the drawings in the model.
So there's going to be Doug fir on the underside on the soffit there.
Yes.
Yes.
And the eaves overhang 6 feet. So they are impressive kind of sculptural elements that I think will be appreciated. It's going to look better, in my humble opinion, than many of the other side elevations. And I'm going to try to see if you can see my screen here with a 3D model.
Can we let her can we let her present it, or?
Yeah, do you have that loaded into your,
No, I don't have it loaded in at the moment, and I'm gonna just lower you
Okay.
here so we can try to make the make a better view for you. Um,
And I just wanted to mention those Douglas fir eaves are on all sides of the house. So you'll really notice them with the steep slope coming up from the street.
Mhm.
So if you can see, this is the way the articulation of that sidewall goes. So it's actually got quite a bit going on. This is the large stair that Kim was talking about, the window into the stair that looks into the across the house. So actually, with trees in front of this, I think it's going to be a beautiful look. So I'm missing my site here. The house is not that big in the back. I don't have my site turned on. This is a foundation wall here, but this is showing you the outdoor living component from the rear.
Susan, can you give us go on around to the north elevation?
Mm-hmm. So on the north, we have a screened outdoor grill. We have a potting shed looking into the screened porch. We have a stucco portion of the house. And then we've got the lowered roof with the garage. And the garage has frosted glass windows, frosted glass garage doors. Then we're coming around to the front. And this is where the stone banding starts to pick up. So you're seeing more detail in the stone. And again, ground level is here. And we turn around and we start to see the play with the stucco and the stone that gets integrated into the landscape.
Thank you. This is very helpful.
Good, good.
Go ahead and take us around again, Susan, if you would, please. I want to see the view from the north.
Okay. All right, let me slip out a bit. I'm gonna take you back. So this is our north elevation. The stone stops at the edge of the garage, the stucco picks up, and we don't have our stucco banding illustrated in the model at that time. You start to see some of the Douglas fir from the screened porch. Again, there's the potting shed, and this is the outdoor grill. So this is our eastern view now.
The screened in porch will have phantom screens on all of the lower section, and the grill will be an Argentinian style grill.
So yeah, pass this and we'll have you over for dinner. Right, Mark? When you get it fired up.
It depends.
Okay, and Susan, once again, the view looking north.
The view looking north. Okay.
Trying to match it up with what I have in front of me.
Okay.
The rest of the board does that match the north looking view that you have in front of you?
It
Isn't that page 14?
Or 13.
13.
13 of 17.
Susan, I want to see page 14, number 2 in your model there.
Okay.
It says looking north. It's the elevation looking north.
Okay. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, that's actually looking at the south elevation of the garage.
Yeah.
Yes, this is actually your north, it says north elevation side with primary materials. It is there on page 13, it's elevation number 1.
Okay, I'm looking for page 14, number 2.
Okay, 14, number 2.
There you go.
Okay, so that is that garage elevation looking north. So that's there in the inside courtyard.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman Benegas, while we have a second, I just wanted to note for the record, we have received one public comment in regards to this project, consisting of 1 page, and it was distributed to the members prior to the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Have all the members received that?
I know I did.
Looks like they indicated yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions, comments for our presenter? Okay, and Mr. Arizona, all your concerns addressed adequately?
They are. Thank you for pulling up that that model.
Okay, hearing no other comments, and we got the public comments. Any other comment from the board? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Been motion is second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thanks for being here, Ms. Bauer and your team. Appreciate that. Good luck with the project.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Next item on the agenda is an addition at 701 the Hamptons Lane. Is there a presenter for that project?
Yeah, I'm Lauren Strutman. I'm the architect here with Steve Ensley, who's working on the project with me. And we want to unmute RGB3, which is our client, Rich Brown. And the builder, Jeffrey Bernstein, is going to unmute too. He's the builder for the project. And this is basically an outdoor room addition. Our clients, Rich and Julia Brown, are building a new pool at the walkout level behind their house. And we're building an outdoor room about 1,500 square feet to kind of surround the pool. And the outdoor room is being built out of brick to match the house, window details to match the house, coins, roof pitches, roofing, and the roof cornice all match the house. We do have trustee approval, and we have a detailed plan that addresses drainage on this property. So we're here tonight to answer any questions you have. We're basically matching everything that's there.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments from the board?
Chairman Benegas, we have received no public comment in regards to this project.
Thank you. Okay, hearing no comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I
And
will. I'll second it.
Elizabeth, I'll-
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Sounds like motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Lauren, thanks for being with us with your team. Appreciate it. Good luck with the project.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is an addition at 14005 Claret Lane. Is there a presenter for that project?
Yeah, my name is Josh Thompson. I'm with Tri-County Construction. I'm the builder on the job.
Okay, give us an overview if you would, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, we're doing a small addition on an entryway over the front porch, approximately 16 foot long, 6 foot out. We'll carry the natural roof lines on the extension. The soffit fascia material will be to match the existing, as well as the gutters. The addition will be built out of a rough sawn cedar. We'll carry the natural band board line through the addition. It'll all be an open exposed rough sawn cedar, and then we'll have a car siding ceiling on the top. It'll also have some black decorative ornamentals at the intersections.
Okay, and I notice you have trustee approval.
We do.
Good. Any questions regarding this project?
So the current house is painted white
Current house is white with black soffit fascia.
without a bunch of trees in the front. I'm just looking at Google Maps and it's different. So.
Yeah. No trees in the front. There's there's a couple trees, one off to the west elevation and a couple bushes right in front. Those will have to come out to allow for the post. And the homeowner will be doing some additional landscaping and lighting.
Just a question. So you're using rough sawn cedar, brown cedar for the addition?
Correct.
Are they going to repaint the house?
House is white now.
Oh, the house is white.
Yeah, there's some photos included in there.
Is the trim still black?
It is not. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, the trim is black. Yeah, the siding is white. We've included some additional photos in there.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Chairman, I did want to note, we did receive one public comment on this project consisting of one page. And it should have been distributed to the architecture review members prior to the meeting.
Okay, and were there any members that did not get that? One second here, please. Okay. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't understand the brown rough sawn cedar with the black trim around the rest of the house.
Okay. Do you have the updated photos with the white siding on it?
Well, I think I do, but the trim around the rest of the house is black, correct?
The trim around the rest of the house is black. Yeah, they're going with the farmhouse style look with the cedar, and we've also included some exemplary photos of what it would look like at the end.
So in the exemplary photo, the wood stained dark, and it just happens that that one has a white trim.
Correct.
So
yes.
It would be, that would all be black trim.
Correct, yes.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Oh,
Been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for
Have a
being
good
here. Good
evening.
luck with the project.
Thanks, sir.
Next item on the agenda is a new residence at 12941 Townton Court. Is there a presenter for that project? You're muted there.
How's that?
There you go.
Okay.
That works. Good evening. Just for the
Hello.
record again, if you would give our clerk the your name, please.
Rob Rehnquist, builder, architect, and this is actually going to be a home for my wife and myself, or empty nester house. I know you guys are thinking, there goes the neighborhood.
Rob, we might torture you now, Rob.
Yeah, I
Now
know.
that we know that.
I shouldn't have said that. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay,
So-
tell us about it.
1.2 acre site. It's been a little bit since we've done a tear down. And so we kind of had to go through some of the new system as far as that goes. Angled the house for maximum privacy towards the rear and also for neighbors adjoining the property. The exterior is brick with stone areas, and the brick and stone is set to blend together versus sometimes you see it a sharp contrast. And then the front massing, there's a very small area of 2-story. Most of it's kind of a story and a half. The house sits up on a hill, so we wanted to keep the scale down a little bit as far as that goes. We are removing 3 trees, 2 large ones that are right on top of the existing house, and then a sweet gum in the back that's more of a nuisance tree. We have trustee approval, and I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. Run us through, we basically have a black and white rendition here. Would really prefer a color rendition. Run us through the colors of all the textures.
Well, it actually is, there's not much color to it. If you look at the stone and the brick, here's the brick. And then here's the stone. So with that, it's pretty much going to be kind of a light gray throughout the front of the house. And it is difficult to get the material, the colors of the rendering to match the materials. And then
Could you show us the brick again, please?
Sure.
Oh, okay. That's much lighter than it looks here on.
Yeah, exactly. To give it any kind of lines, it has to darken up a little bit. They had to darken up a little bit to give any kind of lines for the brick. But it's going to be a much lighter color, and then same with the stone, it'll be a light gray also.
And then the color of the roof?
It's weathered, and I have a sample of that.
Okay.
The weathered wood.
And you're gonna put solar panels on this, right?
Pardon?
And you're gonna put
Oh,
solar
solar
panels on this, right?
Well, let's see. The front of it, and the front of it's facing south.
Okay. Just thought I'd try.
My daughter's trying to get us to, because she just put solar panels on her house in Denver, and she likes it quite a bit, but I'm not sure.
Well, I'd love to work with you to challenge the existing ordinance that says no front solar panels.
There you go.
All right. Any other questions, discussion about the project?
We have received no public comment in regards to this as well.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thanks for being with us, Rob. Good luck on your project. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you.
Hooray.
Okay, next item on the agenda is an addition at 13221 Pine Tree Lake Drive. Is there a presenter for that project?
Can you hear me?
Yes, there you go.
How you doing?
Good. Welcome.
I'm sorry, can I get your name for the record?
Mike Kelly. I'm actually on my dad's Zoom right now. I had some problems with my computer, so
Okay.
sorry about that.
Okay. Give us an overview of the project, if you would.
Yeah, this is, we're going with this white farmhouse look that seems to be the most trending thing right now. White, we're going to add a front porch that comes out about 9 feet, 24 feet over, and then it returns back into the house, another 9 feet. And then that's going to have that black ribbed roof on it. And then also we're going to do a covered porch in the back with like an outdoor kitchen. And then going to blow out the one doorway that's in the back of the bathroom. We're going to add that out, going out to the back porch area.
Okay.
You guys have pictures there about any questions or anything?
We do have, I think we all do have the pictures of the area and the project. And you also have the trustee approval, looks like, for the addition.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, comments for Mr. Kelly? Mr. Kelly, sometimes the board just decides to be really, really nice, so they don't have no questions for you.
Well, thank you.
Every once in a while, it happens. Hearing no comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Just wanted to note we did receive one public comment in regards to this.
Okay, and that was distributed?
Yes.
One second here. Okay. I entertain a motion for the project.
I move to
Motion
approve.
to- oh, sorry.
There's been a motion, and was the second by Mary Beth?
Yes, motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Sounds like it was unanimous. It was unanimous. Mr. Kelly, thanks for being with us. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I believe we've got a second one too.
Okay. Well, we do have someone that wants to put solar panels on the roof. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is a solar panel array at 13221 Pine Tree Lake Drive. Are you presenting that project also, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us about it.
It is a 34 panel array. Right now, the energy offset right now, putting it on the back side of the roof, we're going to offset it by 92% of the electrical bill. And then also with the energy efficient upgrades I'm doing with doors, the black windows and all that stuff, we're going to get very close to offsetting this electrical bill by 100%. It's not visible by the street. Everything is, if you can see, there's a little road that's like almost like a service road in a hill in the backyard. That's all that's going to be visible to that.
And that service road is for what?
That service road, it's, I haven't even been back there, but it's just, I really couldn't tell you where the service road goes to.
It looks like it's a driveway for 3 or 4 houses.
Would that be then in Creve Coeur?
I do not believe so. There's that little children's hospital right behind.
Okay.
There's a massive hill in that backyard that's like common ground. But that's really if those are 3 or 4 houses, that's a little bit ways down the way from the house.
It's Windy Hill, Acres Lane. So it goes to a few houses back there. They're town and country homes.
Okay, thank you.
It's the driveway.
Okay, have you approached the trustees regarding this project, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, I have, sir.
And how they respond?
They signed off on it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
And did you submit that?
I submitted that to Ryan, yes.
You have it, Ryan?
It's the same form that was in the previous item.
Okay, all right, good enough. Thank you, thank you. Okay, any questions for Mr. Kelly on this project? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
You want to make it at the second, Steve?
I can go second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Mr. Kelly, please thank the owners for being considerate in regard to this project. Congratulations and good luck with it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, next item on the agenda has been moved from item number 1 to the last item. And that is the architecture criteria amendments regarding projects that require review. And I think that was continued from last meeting.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, Ryan, you want to take this one?
Yes, sir. Board members, you should have in your packet Exhibit B. I took the time between the last meeting and tonight to do a little more research as to additions and how they're impacted by A or B. So I did a breakdown of 2019. We had 29 total listed additions. Of those additions, you all saw 8 of them. 5 of them required conditional use permits. And then the rest would have been rear additions not impacting the front of the facade. So, I showed a basic description, construction value, and the general square footage of these additions, just to give you a ballpark idea of, what kind of size and magnitude we're looking at when it comes to these construction projects. Some can be on the small side, several hundred square feet. And then Laurel Lakes, which we heard a lot about last year, is a outlier, an over 2,500 square foot addition, basically a house off the back of an existing house. That's on the rarer side. Most are in the 400 to 600 square foot range. Typically covered porches. This outdoor living concept, bringing the outdoors inside, or basic room additions off the back of the house. So I just want to provide that data so you'd have a better idea of what we're talking about with additions. If you were to consider adding more review authority around the 360 degrees of the house instead of just the front facade. So hopefully that's useful information for your discussion. And I'd be happy to answer any questions or that I can, if need be.
Any questions for Ryan?
So according to this chart, if we had done this in 2019, we would have had, what, 20 more additions to review?
Last year, we would have had 21 additional cases, yes.
And I wasn't able to attend the last month's meeting. What triggered or generated the interest in modifying the architectural code?
I believe the instigation came from a recent conditional use permit request for a large accessory structure in a rear yard.
Treehouse?
No, but we had one of those next month. No, it was a multi-purpose structure, storage, hobbies, pool house kind of concept. So it was over 1,000 square feet. And I think that generated the discussion at the Board of Aldermen level between Alderman Holman and Chairman Benegas about, these projects and what requires review and so forth. So that's really what the instigation, where that came from.
If I might just add about that, there have been a number of other projects over the last few years where people made additions in their backyard that significantly changed the site view of neighbors, and it didn't require any review. And so we're wanting some kind of oversight there. There may be very few that really would bring up a concern, but we want to be able to catch the ones that do bring up concerns by associations or neighbors.
Well, yeah, I can think of a couple of examples along Mason by us in the development that Rob Rehnquist is currently working on. They added another nearly two stalls to the garage. That doesn't affect the facade of the building, but it's still plainly visible from Mason. Looks great, but that was a pretty significant addition that didn't require our attention. And then the home
to a brand new house.
Yeah, basically. And then the home that's right across the retention pond from the Rehnquist development has been in a constant state of construction since they broke ground. And I don't even think I was on ARB when they first submitted the application.
Yeah. So this is an attempt just for there to be a little bit more oversight on those kinds of projects. And the way this would work is that we're bringing it to the Architecture Review Board for your consideration. If it gets approved here, it will go on to the Board of Aldermen for review and a vote. It could be brought up just at the Board of Aldermen level, but we wanted to go through Architecture Review for consideration and recommendation.
What happened to trustee approval? I mean, it seems to me it's something like this that it makes more sense for something to go through the trustees, and if the trustees are having issues and then the neighbors if the neighbors all approve and the trustees approve, then why bring it before us? And if nobody approves, then it's maybe time to bring it before us and see. But I think you're adding more. And
all the covenants, everybody's covenants are different, and so some of them include, some of them don't include. You have trustee boards that are significantly different. Today, for example, we had a situation where there's a trustee board, but there's only one active member, and so that doesn't really give you the full picture. It's something that we consider and we ask for, but it really doesn't determine what our vote is in that regard. So again, it's just another level of oversight.
And then what would you require for drawings? Would you require full renderings, full materials, full tree count, full landscape plan, full everything? I don't know. I think it seems like a lot. And maybe you put a square footage cap on it and approach it that way, but I don't know.
Well, there is a square footage cap, right? Because if it requires a CUP.
It's case dependent. A pool house over 300 square feet would need a CUP. A pavilion over 200 square feet would need a CUP. A storage building over 100 square feet would need a CUP. So there's certain levels of different types of detached structures that trigger the CUP. At the staff level, I'm somewhat with Elizabeth in that it would be nice to set a minimum, because I'm concerned that if there's 150 square foot small rear addition, that we're going to then push them out 30, 45 days, a whole other process, versus something like Laurel Lakes, which was a massive, $700,000 rear addition that impacted greatly the neighborhood. That's something that, yes, it makes a lot of sense for ARB review. I'm just wondering where that line is. But I think it would make sense to have somewhat of a minimum, either square footage or value. I think square footage is more, makes more sense. And I'm also somewhat hesitant about conditional use permits, because those typically take 60 to 90 days, 3 meetings, a public hearing, to add another meeting onto that process, another public notice onto a process where already the P&Z and the Board of Aldermen are free to enact architectural criteria, and they have in the past on certain additions. It's within their rights as part of a conditional use permit process. So that's just one concern I have about CUPs being included as for ARB review. Those are just my thoughts.
I mean, I could go either way on this. I mean, I think a lot of the, I don't know what it was about today that I don't remember us ever seeing so many covered, back porches than we did this week. I mean, I could understand, knowing from something that just happened in our neighborhood recently, that there are some neighbors who would like some oversight of some of these things, which is, I guess, what we volunteered for. But, adding 20 more of these things every year, certainly not something I'd look forward to.
Right. Well, and I understand with the front of the house and things that impact the integrity of the neighborhood and things like that. But at some point too, how much oversight do you want your neighbors to have on the back of your house? If it doesn't really impact them, then, what happens if you have a neighbor that hates the other neighbor for whatever reason and is going to fuss regardless? And, I don't know.
Yeah, we've got one of those.
Yeah.
If, for instance, if you set a minimum of 500 square feet on a rear addition, last year would have generated 6 cases versus the 21. That I kind of land on 500 as a good cutoff for projects that have a magnitude that may impact views from neighbors.
Right.
I can live with that, and then at least if we set a minimum like that, if a neighbor comes in and complains, we could say there are procedures in place. That one's just too small for us.
Right.
Yeah, just looking at the list, I would agree. I mean, 500 seems to be a reasonable number that would result in a reasonable amount of oversight without taxing the ARB and staff any additionally.
Yeah. And I think if we set it at 500, some of those 506 ones would become 496.
Yeah.
But then we're reviewing the Laurel Lakes of the world, what's 2,600 square feet that was never looked at. There was a 30 Bell Reeve did an addition, 1,400 square feet that was never looked at. So there's some very large additions, and for 4 to 6 a year, basically just depends on year to year can change, but generally that setting at 500, you're going to have 5 to 10 additional cases. If it's anything around the house, then you could look at anywhere from 20 to 30 cases. This is just where I broke down the data. I looked at 18 and 17, and they were slightly higher in those years, but I didn't have time to go down to the basement and pull up a set of plans and run calcs. So this is just a brief snapshot of last year. So
we have 13 on this list that are over 500, 14. Is that right?
Yeah, roughly half.
But a bunch of them we already reviewed.
Several of them, yes. 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
I could live with 500 square feet as a cutoff.
I think that's a good number.
Let me just ask if we use the cutoff of 500 square feet, is there anything that anybody recalls that would not have reached 500 square feet that we look back and say, geez, that was really heinous. And we should have said something. We should have had some reason, some way of catching that. I'm just.
No, I think the only one I really regret is that big white monster on Clayton.
Then I can live with 500 square feet then.
So I have another question. Does it make sense to do 500 square feet? Or I'm looking at this and some of these lanais and just covered porches, is a covered porch something that you really want to look at? Or is it like over 500 square feet room addition, which I think is more valid to look at?
I mean, it impacts the elevation on the rear. A covered porch does, just like a front porch impacts the front elevation. So I'd really like to have it from an numerical standpoint, rather than a style or.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think most of them will be like some of the ones we saw today, where it's going to be no comment.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of work for no comment.
It's nice to have that little safety check in the back if a neighbor does complain, for you to say, I did all the steps.
Okay, well, and I can buy into that.
Ryan, would the additional 501 square feet that, or 499 that doesn't come before us, does that get factored into like stormwater calculations?
Depending on their level of disturbance, yes, certainly. Or, these additions, they have to account for pre and post stormwater calculations and install a system if need be. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Most building permits with significant work that you guys don't see, they still require stormwater plans and calculations, pool. All sorts of flat work that wouldn't trigger any kind of review. We have very strong stormwater standards, so they're still having to do all of that work. It wouldn't be a new requirement.
Okay.
Any other discussion? What's the pleasure of the board? Would you like to move it to a vote? You want to consider it and bring it back in 1 month? What would you like?
Well, speaking for myself, I'm comfortable going forward if we were to modify B in the Exhibit A, so it read, architectural review shall be required for all residential building additions of 500 square feet or larger.
I could second that.
I could live with that.
Oh, hold on there.
Okay, there's been a motion. This is let's
I don't
see,
know if
so
there's an
this would-
emotion yet, or we're seeing if we have enough people on board.
You know, yeah, well,
Right.
yeah, yes, that would be a motion.
So if I can restate Mr. Clark's motion, he would make a motion to approve the item with the added language that architectural review shall be required for all residential building additions of 500 square feet and over, and a residential accessory buildings that require a conditional use permit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then that was seconded by
I'll second that.
Mr. Arza.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
And then Chairman Ben, I guess I wanted to note that we've received no public comment in regards to this.
Thank you. Okay, hearing no other discussion, everybody in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. So we'll forward this then as recommendation to the Board of Aldermen.
Yes.
And at that time, if any of you want to be there to speak in favor or against this idea, feel free to do that. I will attempt to carry forward the recommendation of the board, the majority recommendation of the board, and any minority recommendation. But if you'd like to speak to it, you certainly can. And you're welcome to do that. Okay, I want to just compliment the board. We had a full agenda tonight. We had some issues that need to have a discussion. Thanks for that. I want to remind you that if any time you have any concerns about anything that you see, do not hesitate to bring it up. Don't let yourself look back and say, I wish I would have. I share the concern that Mr. Arzano expressed now, but there was nothing that could be done to stop that project, but still speak up if you have any inclination. Thanks again for your service, everybody. Appreciate it. A great job. We'll see you next month. And I guess that
Is
is
there a
going to
motion
be.
to adjourn?
Well,
I'll
the
make
next
a
meeting
motion
is.
to adjourn.
I'll second.
I've lost control. There's been a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. See you next month, whenever that is.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Aye.
Bye now.
Thanks, everybody.